Peace, peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now, the importance of knowing ourselves, is very key right now. Again, it's like that Maymester, in college, those y'all familiar, that Maymester is like cramming, you know, a semester's worth. So like say for instance, 3-4 months worth of schooling into 1 month. And of course, there's areas of our growth where it's a process, and it takes time in that sense, but it's not the vibe of us taking time to share the information. Like, of course, we can only digest information at the pace we are allowed to digest it at, or at the pace we allow ourselves to digest it at, or at the pace that, that we are capable of digesting it at. But it's meant to come out, like straight up and forward right now and not be held back, So it's not so much how quick you have to learn, but how quick the information has to come out more so. So, not necessarily rushing the flow of growth, but like realizing upon my growth, realizing how much I'm connected with that Papa Legba energy slash, Thoth, Jehudi, Mercury, and indirectly in connection with, Orion, which I'm gonna do a later video too with the connection with that, no fucus. But cause that Lazarus energy, the connected to Ophiuchus, the old wounded healer. It's all in connection, but don't want to get too off. But basically realizing, our uniqueness, and again realizing that we are source, ye are gods, and we are source energy, energetic vibrations of consciousness on a human experience, and a lot of who and what we truly are, it's not a social norm. It's not normal to be a god in this society. The way society is made right now, being your unique godly self is gonna make you stand out like a sore thumb, quote unquote. But right now is not giving a fuck about any of that. Excuse my diction. Sorry, not sorry. Like realizing for myself, how all throughout, and I got videos speaking on my connection with the Papa Legba energy, and dealing with like how to know, how to read your past lives and dealing with that. I spoke on that before, so I'm not gonna go in depth unless it calls for it indirectly. But like seeing for myself, like my energy of like always being that person. Like naturally, I always was a person that would connect people. I always was possibly friends with people who, not say who was on opposing sides, but to some extent, like, well, and I'm from a small town, so it's possible for you, cousins and brothers and sisters get into it, let alone your people in a small town, and where, one person that you cool with from one little area might have got into it with another person, but on a bigger scale, no matter what, like I have this vibe of just, being in that middle space, and that's who I am as an energy, It got personified and called Papa Legba, and the door opener, and Mercury, and Thoth, and the messenger of the gods, and all this. It got called that in a human form, for us to articulate it in this 3D realm, but on a higher level, that's the energy that I am, just embodied in a physical form, But like that's why, and I made a video about that, like Papa Legba, like the trickster, and also like when you're laughing, like it could also turn into crying right quick, 'cause Papa Legba in between those two realms, walking with one foot, walking with a limp because one foot in one realm and one foot in the physical realm, but also, again, speaking to being like that messenger, that in between, you know, uh, connection to different energies, like, because when you're dealing with, ceremonies, it's like you call on Papa Legba first, and that door opener energy, because for better or for worse, throughout my growth, I I'm known for introducing people to things, whether at one time it was the person who introduced people to their first drink of alcohol, or coke, or smoking sherms, things that were harmful, you know what I'm saying? But and then on the flip side, also being that person that introduced things, information and things that are beneficial to a person, but introducing a person to energy regardless, you know what I'm saying? And seeing how that, again, was with me, without me having to try it, it's just who I was, and again, you see that trickster vibe because you in between polarities. So of course the yin will be like, oh well, like in so many words, and it's looking at it from a human moralistic standpoint, because I'm not a trickster on a level as a human where I'm just like, oh, just disrupting both sides, but from a energetic, higher perspective, like, yeah, my energy, I hold no like I said, don't shoot the messenger. That in essence is connected again with that Mercury vibe, like, don't shoot the messenger. Like, I'm just delivering a message from one of the other brethren and sister guys that I know to you, you know what I'm saying? And also again that trickster vibe, because one energy, could see, how I say, could see again, a messenger energy is not loyal. Like, oh, that person is not loyal to just one person, But that, again, that's my being, and that's why I too always feeling like, I've been across many different dimensions, because even without physically, necessarily like jumping dimensions, but just being in different gods' presences, different different essences of different gods, is basically like being in a different dimension, as well. Because again, we are physical representations of, like, some of us are physical representation of stars, some of us are physical representations of whole constellations, some of us are physical representations of like planets, in essence, like, it's like, and that's why Earth is like that, premier place, and Earth is, and again, there's layers to this. It's a being that we're in, a being that's not necessarily favorable to our being. Trying, it's like and two, that's how we look at it, as the pressure to make a diamond. But this energy is trying to hold us down and trick us into staying and loving this matrix. But again, like, stepping into that realm of knowing, who and what we truly are, and stepping into that uniqueness, realizing, like, again, it's not about the human moralistic vibe of, of trying, like, of course we're in a human body and we balance out being in this 3D realm on so many levels, but just really realizing, like, what energy that we are, what God that we are, what consciousness that we basically are, and accepting that and being that, that unique energy, because again, all that, the connection with the Papa Legba energy, that's not even me trying, like, that's just me in general. Like, I spoke on me being an MC, like master of ceremonies, like what the master ceremonies do. It introduce everybody next to the stage, this and that. The next god coming up, you know what I'm saying? This god that's coming up is this, same thing, like with a ceremony for voodoo or Santeria, is like, Papa Legba, all right, next up is Shango. All right, now Oshun, you know what I'm saying? It's like a person who introduces energy. And again, back to introducing the door opener. Hey, about to open this door for Oshun to walk through. I'm about to open this door for, you know, this other guy to walk through, because again, also realizing, we are, fallen, some of us, quote unquote, fallen angels, God, but God on some level, because even an angel in some extent is a God, Matter of fact, shout out to Dolo, the pilot man, flight boss, bro. That another unique energy that I resonate with, cause like delivering information with that rawness of knowing, like, bro, of course we on this 3D plane of existence, but the reality of the situation is much more deeper and a higher dimensional situation that's going on. And I think about to the brethren, explaining how, uh, being connected as Archangel Uriel and connected with Antares, the star and Scorpio, and how, matter of fact, that's why, like on these cards too, the tarot cards, and more than just tarot cards, is on multiple things, but the eagle, and I spoke about that, the eagle, the bull, the man, and the lion, the fixed stars, they got it on this one, they got it on a Saturn card too, but those fixed energies, and the brethren Archangel Uriel, of course, like what he speaks on, is being that energy. And I get where he coming from, because again, I watch myself kind of fall back and kind of get scared to be my true self, you know what I'm saying? Because in order to help myself, I have to admit that, all right, I was being a little scared to be that unique, you know what I'm saying? Like, in some way, form, or fashion, I started falling into a place of lacking confidence. And then by that energy being embodied within me, I started putting myself in place. So automatically, as my energy goes there, I start putting myself in places that lack that confidence. And, even further effect, because now, not only the energy started inside of me, now it's my external realm, and if I'm not consciously aware, I'm gonna just keep giving into the external realm and bringing that energy, of lack of confidence even more in myself. But that resilient energy, my little sound effects, my little resilient energy, shaking back and realizing, like, nah, it's about being my unique self. And again, also though, not getting caught up in just trying to be extremely out there just to be extremely out there, because then you'll kind of get caught up in the extreme in essence. But and at the end of the day, just following the energy to your inner heart's guidance, like whatever feels righteous to you on a soul level, that just makes you feel like good, like you feel like, bruh, like this is, like you feel the growth, you feel the empowerment in being that unique energy, but definitely a time to step into that uniqueness. A lot of us, again, and now I'm feeling that energy just spike up every day, like, matter of fact, because I've been, like, I barely even went to sleep, but yet I'm well rested, yeah, this time, this paradigm shift is not waiting for nobody, but again, that noticing that Papa Legba vibe for me. And again, Papa Legba, the 3D terminology, just like the brethren using the name Archangel Uriel, which to some extent, we both been existing before those names could even be given. You know what I'm saying? Like, before there was even a name Uriel or Papa Legba, or or like Oshun or Ogun, or Archangel Michael or Gabriel. Like, these are English terminologies, so the energy ourselves existed before, on a human level. As we started to fall away from that higher consciousness, we started using these little names and rituals in certain situations to remember our true, selves, somewhere along the lines we might have got lost in the dogmatisms of, using those systems to remember who we truly are, and start slipping into a place of those systems being a worshiping system and not necessarily a system of re-remembrance, because that's another thing too. Like, I don't deal with the worshiping or praying to anything, like, the energy is all internal, and even with that, speaking to that aspect also, like with the sun, like realizing too, like, and which I was thinking about making this a separate, but just speaking on it too, having a reminder of like being in this physical plane, of course we connecting, like going put your, going grounding outside, barefoot, dealing with sunlight, but being in sunlight and all that, you know what I'm saying? That's all of this matrix, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want to invest too much into, like connecting, being in this world, but not of it, you know what I'm saying? Realizing that we working to get out of this matrix, and some of us might want to stay here, but I know for a fact that, I'm not staying here. And I even looked at how my higher self, or more so like, just that lower energy tried to play with me. In another video, I was doing a live Instagram, and somebody was like, "Are you coming back, or are you, like, nah, I don't see no reason to, you know, to stay in this realm." I've been again, like, cause I'm a person. I'm partially like I'm clear cognizant, so I've been, knowing a lot about a lot of these things just innately, just internally. Then as I got older, I was, I learned to well, I found information and learned how to tap into my energies, and and basically coming across like book information or lecture information that confirmed what I always been feeling since I was, since I was born, in essence, since I was able to articulate my thoughts and have memory to remember, like ever since 5 years old, 6 years old, remembering, like, bro, I know I'm more than just a fucking human being. And again, I always make that joke about like, and that's why they on certain movies they project, like they personify a fallen angel in most cases, like somebody that just gets drunk or might be a hobo on the street or something like that, and matter of fact, like where they done got their wings clipped and fell to the earthly plane, and it's like, like, oh man, like, knowing that you ain't from this motherfucker, so like, oh, get drunk, and two, though, also that vibe of well, with that, it's a whole different thing, but so scratch that. But anyway, just that angelic vibe of like, or that vibe of realizing that you are, more than just a human being, and you're not necessarily, of this matrix realm, like this bodysuit is, but we're not of this realm, so to speak. And speaking back to the sunlight, I catch a little vibe about the sunlight, and again, just a reminder on that vibe. Like, of course, we dealing with this physical realm, but again, that's why a lot of people, and a lot of energies push towards, like worshiping the sun and this and that. Because even down to being connected, like quote unquote melanin or melanated people, it's like looking at things where it's almost like being happy that you're able to withstand the conditions of a jailhouse, like, oh yeah, boy, I'm built for jail, you know like in the essence of like I'm built to take the sunlight and this and that. And that's why I always have to keep in perspective and realizing too, like with my root chakra energy and being in this realm, you know, that rooted energy to being in that culture and connected with the black this or the melanated that, and in which it has importance as far as the information of ancient indigenous beings. But as far as like again that vibe, well, realizing like we working to get out of this place, you know what I'm saying, and not to brag on how good we are in jail. Like, it's like bragging on, again, like, are you trying to be immortal in jail, or are you trying to basically, like, again, yeah, are you trying to be immortal? I'm saying right. Trying to be immortal in jail and stay in jail forever. Because that's basically what like, because that's too with the little trick vibe of like, oh yeah, you want to be immortal, and they more so placing it on the vibe of being immortal in a human form. But it's like, that's like the same analogy as like asking a person in the jailhouse, like, do you want to immortally stay in here? You know what I'm saying? You could be immortal in this jailhouse. Like, you know what I'm saying? You won't, of course, you ain't leaving out of here. Hint, hint, wink, wink, we ain't gonna, kind of like the Wishmaster movies, like giving you that wish, but it's sideways, you think you're getting something, but you're really not, so just being aware of that, because that's a vibration that, it's gonna be hard for a lot of people to deal with and realize, because again, and seeing it for myself and my growth, where you're so locked into, the ancient cultures, on a human level, you know what I'm saying, to where, it's like, oh no, Ra, and worship the sun, and gotta, because even myself, like, realizing the vibe of like sun gazing, like doing it to an extent, but not doing it, and also when doing it, realizing and being aware of what I'm doing, because it's like I'm dealing with a being and that's trying to actually hold me in this matrix. But if I know what I'm doing, I could use that energy to be great at what I'm doing in this matrix, but not be in the how can I say, worshiping the matrix and getting lost in the matrix, but it's definitely about because matter of fact, like the Lucifer, the son of the morning, I'm gonna take you out of the Lucifer, Christ energy, you know what I'm saying? Both could be used to trick you to stay in this realm of reality, and in the same sentence, both could be used to help you get out of this realm of reality, because if you, in essence, it's like embracing your body, like, I'm here in this bodysuit right now. I'm here in this bodysuit, and in order to continue to finish off my growth, I gotta keep up this little Lucifer suit, this little 666 carbonated suit, but at the same time, again, being in the realm, but not of the realm. Because of course on bigger scales, God is everything. God can't be everything, but again, we talking about on a big scale. Because like I said, I remember like a while back speaking in videos, like, the source of all that is, that's I ain't gonna say unfathomable energy, but it's so many, it's an infinite universe, you know what I'm saying, where the expansion. So say for instance, like right now, can you hear the request that one of the cells in your toe is making right now? And let alone hear all the personal requests of all the cells in your body, like right now, like, almost like a boss that's listening to complaints from, or not complaints, or compliments from from the workers in the factory, so to speak. You know, like, are you listening to every single cell individually? Like, cause just on a probably got a million cells just in the toe, let alone throughout the body. You know what I'm saying? So like, are we sitting there as a higher consciousness of our body? And listening to every little request of each cell? No. Then think about that on a bigger scale. Like when we reaching out, and I talked about that in videos, like, well, for more mundane type of stuff, reaching out to like ancestors, stuff of this nature, you know, or like a elemental god, but when we like looking for that answer, and again, indirectly, dealing with our higher self, you know what I'm saying, like that true us, in so many ways, forms, and fashions, we are connecting with the all. But for the most part, again, it's a hierarchy to thing. And if you really want to get heard, you might want to deliver the message. So that's what the cells in the body do. Like that those cells that want to get heard, they deliver the message to a bigger body, and that bigger body delivers that message to another bigger body, and then eventually I get a little twitch or a little signal to scratch my toe, or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? But it takes that message moving through the hierarchy, and speaking the message back to, me being unique to myself again, like that trickster vibe, not belonging to any one group, like that messenger between the gods, and how I'm, like connecting people like glue in essence, But again, just also remembering, because I even look at, with dealing with the sunlight, like I see why, like I was moving the way I was when I was at the highest point of my growth. Of course, it was more so because I was working nights, but even with that, I just had a nocturnal vibe to myself, even when healthy, I just always had a knack for wanting to just stay up late, you know, quote unquote late. And even looking at the vibe of me doing videos in the dark, and all these different things, just kind of indirectly pointing to, because again, even the paradox of melanin, like melanin is a representation of a connection to the primordial darkness, that primordial mother, that subconscious dark energy. But it's also, also melanin allows in some form or fashion for a person to thrive in this matrix, you know what I'm saying? Because again, it's a lot of sunlight, mostly on all over this plane of existence. So it's again, it's like a paradox situation, and it depends on your awareness on you keeping that divine connection instead of falling into the lostness with the energy, because everything kind of has its polarity. You could be positively dealing with an energy or negatively dealing with an energy, and again, looking at melanin is more as that connection with the set energy, or that dark primordial mother energy, that the triple darkness, ain't soft and ain't soft, at the top of the tree of life before you get to Ketha. But again, where is that connection, but it is also a connection to help you thrive in this matrix. And when I say thrive again, thriving in jail, or more so thriving in the jail lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, without really knowing who you are, like, like, because of course you could thrive, like, again, I could thrive in the jailhouse, but still know, like, I'm doing this to make sure, to last, to make sure I get out, or I'm doing these different little works in this jailhouse so that, you know, I could get out and go back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making sure I'm surviving in here, not just dying off. You know what I'm saying? Without, you know, holding my own and taking care of my mission, and then bouncing out. You know, but you know, again, there's beauty in contrast. Again, that's the whole situation is like, you know, of course, yeah, there's this matrix, and the, you know, that Satan energy in so many words is trying to trick, you know, people into loving being in this matrix. But that's that contrast, because if that wasn't happening, then you know, then we wouldn't even be having the experience to make sure we doing the work on the other end. You know what I'm saying? It's like the fact that we're in a realm that's, you know, trying to promote a physicality, that's that contrast and that catalyst for us to really connect with our God selves and get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So as much as you know, and you start to see where it's no necessarily good or bad, you know, on a, again, like more so on a human level. And that's why it'd be kind of difficult uh sometimes to put things into, you know, into to words on a 3D round vibe, you know, because it's difficult that this essence and all this existed before, you know, physical words. And and again, these physical words don't really sometimes they kind of chop up the concepts because of predisposed positions of word, like, you know, like if I use the word God, you know, because of what society have taught, that, oh, it's the sky daddy from the Catholic religion. You know, God is the sky daddy. You know, so when I say God, even though I may explain out of what I'm speaking to, you still, because your subconscious programming, see it as like God, the sky daddy. You know, Yahweh, Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the God of the, you know, of the Bible, the jealous God that didn't want, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's a part of the experience. But again, just knowing, looking at the context clues of who, and, you know, who we are on a level of what we, you know, like in connection of what life has shown us throughout, you know, from the beginning stages since birth. You know, it'll point to what unique energy of consciousness, you know, or God that you are, you know. But that's basically it. Peace. Matter of fact, make sure. Yep, yep. Peace. And just remember, you know, like dealing with this matrix vibe, you know, being in the realm and not of it. Uh, you know, and tapping in, because again, this is like a jailhouse. You know, we on lockdown, and of course, you're gonna want to make sure you got your commissary and things that, you know, to keep things going. But that's just keeping you going to, you know, to get what, you know, because you're there for a reason. You're in jail for a reason. You know, get what you gotta get out of the situation or whatever. You know, learn what you know, what it's meant for you to learn. Uh, in that situation, then, you know, go get out and go home, you know. But yeah, that's basically it. But just looking at the context clues though for myself again, and even with the with the sun vibes, and with the, you know, Papa Legba vibe, but the sun vibe, like, you know, seeing how I'm naturally nocturnal, you know, more so thriving in that, what I like to call a witching hour, you know. And also, you know, that balance of taking care of the body, but not like overly, you know, like knowing like this is Matrix, like I'm gonna drink coffee if I feel like it. I'm going, you know, again, like even with smoking my cigarillos and stuff like that, like it's a vibe of like, of course, keeping your bodysuit healthy, in order to receive these messages, but also not again like trying to be immortal in a jailhouse. You know what I'm saying? But peace. Happy now, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now.